Hey y'all, it's me Marty. Welcome to another video and welcome to my wood shop. Actually, this isn't my wood shop. I'm in my truck. My wood shop, my woodworking shop is at home in Minnesota. I'm in my truck, my Freightliner, working on the road, truck driving. I'm actually in Shafter, California, just west of Bakersfield. But I thought I'd do a little video in my truck. I'm waiting for a reload, so I thought I'd do a little video and just talk about woodworking a little bit, actually specifically wood carving. And actually, I do kind of have a little workshop in my truck. So first of all, how does my audio sound? So you all know that I don't use fancy equipment to do my videos. I do everything on my phone. Everything. I record the video on my phone. I don't have special microphones or lighting or anything like that. It's all on my phone. And then I edit with a free software on my phone, and I upload with my phone. Do anything fancy or extra. And they seem to work out really well. But lately I've realized that my audio isn't the best if I'm doing it in my truck with the truck running, or if I'm hiking, or if I'm away from the phone or whatever. So I finally picked up a lavalier mic or wireless mic, whatever you want to call it. It's a Bauer, and I think it was like $19 or $25 or something, but it was on sale for $15 at Walmart, so I grabbed it. And I'm just trying it. I'm new to this, so hopefully it'll work. Let me know if the sound sounds better. Usually when I do a video of my truck like this, you pick up my truck running behind the camera. So hopefully it'll sound better. I have it on my shirt here, so we'll see. Anyway, so in this video, I just want to show you my wood carving toolkit. So, like I said, I do kind of have a little workshop in my truck, so I really enjoy woodworking. I do that when I'm at home. I have a full kind of thrifty scrap wood workshop that I put together, and I've been doing woodworking for over 30 years, and I do that at home. So I've tried to figure out ways that I can do some woodworking on the road. And I do have one of my smaller scroll saws with me. It's underneath, so I can pull it out and do scroll sawing when I have downtime, and I do that sometimes. But also in the truck, I can do some carving and whittling. And actually, I'm going to show you here. And I know I did this in another video. By the way, I am making new versions of some of my older videos this year in 2025. But I encourage you. I say it all the time, but please go watch my older videos. I'm nearing 500 videos and tons of great stuff. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in this video to my woodworking playlist if you want to watch those videos. But I'm going to continue to make new videos too. And I know you've all seen most of you have seen my wood carving kit and a couple other things I'm going to show you right here. But I just thought I'd do it again new for 2025. So last fall, I actually built this. Just a small little workbench, almost like a step stool thing. I built this and so I could have it in my truck. So I have a workbench in the truck where I can do some working on or cutting or sawing or drilling inside the truck in between my seats here or right next to my bunk. Or I can bring it outside and use it. I also built this. Nothing fancy, just a toolbox. But it's another work surface, so I can actually sit in the front seat and use this as a work surface, or sit on my bunk and use it, or right here. And again, it can sit on the workbench. The toolbox can sit on the workbench, and it's actually like a little table, and that's what I'm going to use it for in this video. And nothing fancy. I just use pine boards. I actually built these in the truck. So this is a nice work surface. But I actually have a bunch of tools in there. There's tools in there for doing carving and whittling and scroll sawing and other things, but just some of my basic tools. So I actually have a workbench with a toolbox, and them in tandem together make a nice little table to do videos on. I actually have this in between my seats in the front, and it's like a little end table. And I have a towel over it, and I have my Kleenex there, and I can have stuff on there. It works kind of nice. So I'm going to use this in this video. I need some coffee. Yep, fueled by Jesus and coffee, always. Oh yeah, Black Rifle, Dark Roast Christmas Blend. Anywho, okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of things here. So yeah, I just have a few things in my truck that I can do some woodworking in the truck or outside the truck while I'm on the road. Kind of a on-the-go workshop kind of thing. But I specifically want to show you my Woodcarvers Toolkit. And this is basically it. It's a tool roll that my wife got me, and I have a bunch of stuff in here for just carving spoons, whittling little figures and stuff. But I'm going to tell you up front, you don't need all that, because all you really need is a knife. And after I show you this little toolkit, I'm going to just show you a few knives I have also, and then I'm going to show you a few things I've carved. I'm going to show you some wood that I use, a couple other supplies that I use for carving and stuff, and then I'm going to have 5 tips. So please watch through all the way to the end of the video. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down here so you can see this. So yeah, so see this workbench toolbox works as a nice little table. So yeah, this is a little tool roll that my wife got me, and I really like it. The brand is it's an original Bucket Boss brand. It's just a canvas tool roll with a handle, has a couple of clasps here. I just think it works really well for holding my my Woodcarvers Toolkit. I'll show you what I have in here, and nothing is fancy in here, y'all. Nothing at all in here is fancy, and actually you don't even need all this, like I said. But since I have the tool roll, I have some more things in here. Okay, so the 2 main tools I use if I'm going to carve a spoon, like something like this. The 2 tools I use is a Mora knife and I believe this is also a Mora hook knife. Okay, that's all I really use. That's the 2 tools I use for carving spoons. And that's really all you need. And actually, you don't even need a hook knife. You can carve a spoon with just a knife, but it's just a little easier if you have a hook knife. But this Mora knife actually is the first one I ever bought. You can't go wrong with a Mora knife, y'all. Yes, like I always say, if you have money and you want to spend a lot of money on tools and gear, you can, but you don't need to. A Mora knife is like 12 to 14 bucks, and they work great. They're made really well. Great handle, grip, plastic, hard rubber, or whatever. A nice Scandi grind blade. I think I have 3 or 4 Moras now because I just pick them up once in a while when I see them, and sometimes they're even on sale. But they're built so good. I don't know how they make them and sell them for 12, 14 bucks, but they're really good knives. And actually, this knife is the first one I ever bought, and I've literally carved over 250 spoons and other kinds of things with this knife, and I've never sharpened it. I just strop it. That's all I do. That's all I do with all my knives. I don't even know how to sharpen knives, actually. But yeah, great knife. So that's the main thing I have in here is a Mora knife. And again, really all I need is a knife to do the detail carving, and then a hook knife. But since I have this tool roll, I have some other things in here too. So I have a little saw, and this is just a little Coghlan's folding saw. You can get these for like 5 to 7 bucks. It's a nice little saw for cutting off a branch or a small piece of wood to begin carving. Super sharp and super small. I actually have one of these in my backpack also as an extra little saw. So if you're going to do some woodworking, bushcraft or out in the woods or whatever, I mean, you need a knife, and it's nice to have a saw to cut the branch, cut the wood or whatever to get it size. So I have that. Then I have a marker in here and a pen. And then I have a strap. And I make these, y'all. And it's so simple. I just made a little kind of a stick to hold or whatever out of a piece of poplar, 3/4 inch poplar. It's about, I don't know, 8 inches long. I took an old leather belt and I glued it on here, the smooth side down so the rough side's up. And then I just put sharpening compound on here, stropping compound, and then you just run the knife back and forth. I do that before and after I carve every time, and it stays sharp. It really does work, y'all. I'd like to learn knife sharpening someday for older knives or to fix knives or whatever, but I don't do sharpening really. I have sharpeners, but I've never really used them too much. But I just strop all my knives, and it's good enough. It works. And then I have some sandpaper in here. I have some 60 grit, 100 grit, 220 grit, 400 grit. And then I have a little gouge, which I've never really used these, but they were cheap at Harbor Freight. So I have a set at home or in the shop, and I just put a couple in here, just a couple of gouges if I was ever going to do something different or fancy. Then I have some stropping compound. It's stuck in there. I'm not going to take it out. There's another stropping compound. I think I can get this one out. And And I actually got this with a flex cut knife I bought years ago. It's just stropping compound to put on the strop. Then I have a mini little bottle of mineral oil, which I need to fill. And then I do have a knife sharpener in here. It's a Work Sharp, and just a simple knife sharpener. Just have that in there. Again, you don't need all this stuff, but I have room in here, and it's a neat little toolkit, so why not have it in here? And I got this. So again, if you're in the woods and you want to carve a spoon or carve something, before you use your knife and maybe even after you use the saw, you might need a little hatchet just to cut off some branches or whatever. And this is a small toolkit, but this was at Walmart. And it wasn't even that much. It's just kind of funny. It's a multi-tool with a hatchet on it. So, and there's a knife on here and then some other tools on here. But I've got it in this little toolkit for a little hatchet, so I can chop off the little twigs or branches on a branch before I use it to carve. So I have that in here. I really should have a cover on the blade, but I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, then on the end here, I just have a bunch of Band-Aids, a whole bunch of Band-Aids in there because, yeah, accidents happen. That's pretty much it, what's in here. I also have a pair of gloves. And these are, what are they? I don't know. Ansel Active. These are, what do you call these? I forgot what they're called, but they have metal in them. You know, like fine metal, the mesh in their, there's a name of these. If I think of it, I'll put it right here. But yes, and I do have tape on here because I ripped one. I need to get a new pair of gloves. But here's the thing, y'all. Be safe. Wear gloves. You know, it's just my tip. That's going to be one of my tips in a little bit here. I always wear gloves when I carve. If I'm just whittling, I might not. But for the most part, I wear gloves because why get cut if you don't have to? Seriously. A lot of guys don't wear gloves when they're carving or whittling, but you know, that's your choice. If you should use sharp knives, and if you're using sharp knives and you slip, it's going to be bad. So why not protect yourself? And these are thin, and they actually help me grip the wood, and I just like wearing them. So yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to roll it up here quick. So that's everything in my Woodcarvers Toolkit. And again, you don't need all of this, but it's kind of neat to have a little kit. This is really small. Doesn't take up much room. There's hardly any weight. And I'll keep this in the truck here. Sometimes I'll have it in my shop at home, or I'll have it in the house or whatever. But really simple, really light, and I have a lot in it. Okay, so let's come back up here. Hopefully the sound is good because I'm doing this whole thing, and hopefully you can hear me. I did test it, and it seemed like it worked pretty good. Oh, yeah, good copy. Okay, so that's my Woodcarvers Toolkit, but actually you don't need all that. You can just carve or whittle with a knife. And I've showed these before. I just have a few different knives here. So this is my main one that I pretty much carry in my pocket all the time. This is a flex cut whittler, and it has 2 blades on it. I did have a flex cut, a carving jack, and it had 6 blades on it. That thing was kind of cool, but I didn't use it that often, so I gave it to a friend. But that one's a good one too. This one just has 2 blades, a larger one, like a 2-inch, and then one that's an 1 1/4, I think, and works great for whittling. Oh, it's just it's light, it's slim. There's a wood grain and brass on it. It didn't cost much. That's what I do a lot of my whittling carving with. Just spur of the moment stuff when I want to grab a branch or a little piece of wood and carve. So I have that in my pocket almost all the time. And I have lots of, you've seen my pocket dump, y'all. A lot of times I have 2 or 3 knives in my pocket or multi-tools. Sometimes I'll have my just regular Swiss Army knife. I don't know what this is, a camper or whatever. But these are super sharp and really good for just whittling and carving. You know, there's the bigger blade, and then there's the smaller blade, which I usually use a 1 to 1 1/4 inch blade for most of my whittling or carving. Works great. I've done some really good whittles and stuff with my Swiss Army knife or my flex cut whittler. But you don't even need that, y'all. This is one, I don't remember. I think I had this Fleet Farm, got like wood grit, or is that deer antler or something? But it's just a regular blade, nothing fancy. So you can carve and you can whittle with just a regular blade, or an old, old timer, or you know, the old little pocket knives that Grandpa used to have in his pocket. You can use that to carve with. You don't need anything fancy. But yeah, I just wanted to show you my Woodcarvers Toolkit in the roll, and a couple of knives that I carry with me, and I whittle and I carve with those too. Okay, so some of the materials that I use to carve. Now, like if I'm carving spoons, yes, you can go in the woods, and if you're going to be all bushcrafty and cut down a branch and then carve a spoon from there. Takes a while, but you can do it. But use what you have. I'm a scroll sawer. I have scroll saws, so I pre-cut all my spoons on my scroll saw. So that's what they look when I pre-cut them on the scroll saw. I have a few patterns, but every single spoon I make are different and unique and different sizes, different wood. But I pre-cut them on the scroll saw, and then actually, if I do it out of 3/4 inch wood, I'll resaw it and get 2 spoons out of it. So I pre-cut all my spoons on my scroll saw, and I have a ton of them pre-cut in here, and I'm working on more at home. I have spoons in different stages. Ones that I pre-cut on the scroll saw, some that I'm starting to do the bowl cut, some I'm doing the detail carving, some are done, some need to be sanded, some need to be finished. I have a whole bin in my workshop at home that I need to power sand, and then I'll put mineral oil on them. So I have spoons at different stages that I just work on them. But yeah, so that's just dimensional wood. I'll pre-cut them on my scroll saw. And here's some just little poplar blanks. Here's a square blank and a round blank, and I just use those to make things and whittles on. Or I'll just use branches like these. Just use a branch and you can just whittle. It's so fun to just whittle and carve. And again, like I always say, it doesn't always have to be something. Just take a knife and whittle. Well, do it right here. Just whittle. Sometimes it's fun to just whittle. Take a stick and carve it. It feels good. Learn how to safely use your knife and different techniques, you know, and it's just kind of fun. Make a stick out of a stick. I just carved a stick out of a stick, you know, and so you could do that. So just whittling for fun is, making something is really great, but sometimes just whittling on a stick is really fun too. Here's a few things that I'm in the process of making. Well, that's a 2-ended lighthouse, but then I'm going to cut it in the middle and it'll be 2 lighthouses. Here's another lighthouse I'm working on. Here's a butter knife I'm making. Here's a snowman I'm working on. Here's a spoon that I'm in the middle of carving. And here's some spoons that I've made. There's a larger one. There's kind of a long one to get into like those hiker meal things. Here's a kind of a standard eating spoon size. And I like to make them all different sizes, all different shapes. You know, the different wood grains and stuff. Here's kind of a small soup spoon, kind of a neat size and shape. Here's a little stubby one. This is kind of the first size I ever started making. It's got a big bowl with a short handle. I call it a pocket spoon. You know, I know. Who carries a spoon in their pocket? But you just never know when you need a spoon. I started making these. This is a really skinny, kind of weird looking spoon, but I call it a coffee stir. To stir my chai latte or my coffee or whatever. It's kind of fun. Or you can use it as a coffee scoop also. Some other things I've made, my feeble attempts at carving little guys. I still want to learn how to do that better. A bear I made and then I painted. A little snowman I made, and I made snowmen out of squares and rounds. Hey, here's the thing, y'all. I'm an amateur at this, at carving and whittling. And that's why I'm not going to do how-to videos, really. With all my woodworking videos, I just like to show what I've made. There's people out there that have really great channels showing how to build things and make things and carve and whittle. Watch them. They're better at it. I'm just learning. I'm an amateur, but I just like to share as I learn. So yeah, that's like one of the snowmen I make. But on that note, watch Doug Linker. His channel is Linker. I've been watching him for years. Actually, I watched him when he did bushcraft and outdoor videos, and now he's doing a lot of carving videos, and now he's back to doing both, actually. Super guy, lives in Canada, I believe. Amazing videos showing you how to carve and whittle. Another snowman, that one's out of a round. Nothing fancy, I'm just learning this, y'all. Here's a little a little pecan or a pistachio guy I cut out of pistachio wood. Thanks again, Chris, for the pistachio. I gotta use up that and make some more things. Here's a little lighthouse I made. Another lighthouse. Here's some other things that didn't turn out the best. Here's like a little gnome, and here's a really bad example of a mushroom. And here's a duck I did, kind of a 3D dimensional duck. But yeah, that's just some things I make. Oh, while I'm showing you, we're talking about wood carving, but I do scroll sign. You've seen all that stuff. I have a few things in here I made. Joys. This is on the scroll saw now, and I do have a scroll saw with me that I pull out sometimes. Christmas ornaments, I love making those. My 3D reindeer. This is my ornament this year. Some of you got one. But those are a few things I make on the scroll saw if I pull that out. But yeah, that's kind of that. And a few things that are maybe nice to have. This is kind of cool. This really is. This workbench and toolbox in my truck works for a good table. It's kind of neat. A few other things, and you might want some wood glue. I don't know if you're carving or whittling things and want to glue parts together or whatever. Mineral oil. This is like $2 at Walmart. That's what I use. Just pure mineral oil. Just generic brand, works great. I use that on anything that's going to be contact with your mouth or food, like carved spoons and cutting boards, charcuterie boards, all that kind of stuff. I put mineral oil on. Just it's pure, it's healthy, it's good, and it makes the wood look good. So I use that on a lot of my little whittles and carvings and stuff too. Some sandpaper, like I say, just different grits of sandpaper are good to sand your things after you carve them. Yeah. So I have 5 tips for you all. Marty's tips. I want to start doing tips in every video too. Just my tips. Just take it with a grain of salt. These are just 5 things if you're going to start carving and whittling that I've learned and I'm still learning. Number 1, be safe. Like I say, it's better to wear gloves than not. A lot of people don't wear them, but I think it's a good thing to do is wear gloves. And be careful of the knife direction. Always whittle away. And sometimes you have to carve toward yourself. If you're carving a part of a spoon, just be really careful. Be safe. Learn the right ways to carve and be really safe. Number 2, start slow and simple. Just carve a little lighthouse or a small spoon. Don't carve the Taj Mahal or the something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else you would carve. But what's a big carving that I don't think the Taj Mahal was carved. I'm drawing a blank of examples of the big fancy things you would carve. Don't start with them. Just start with a small thing as you learn to use your knife and to carve and whittle. Number 3, use what you have. Again, if you just have a knife, you can start carving and whittling. You don't have to have fancy supplies. I still don't have fancy supplies. And I make some fun little things, make wonderful gifts, and you can make things to sell too. But start with what you have, just a knife, and then just maybe get a better knife, maybe get a hook knife and some other little supplies for carving, and use what you have. And that goes for scroll sign and other woodworking too, and just enjoying the outdoors and backpacking and hiking and bushcraft. Any hobby, use what you have to start. Number 4, don't be critical of yourself. You're learning, okay? Just make something and be proud of what you made as you're starting and you're learning. Number 5, with that, keep on learning. Never stop learning. I am always learning, y'all. I'm 58 years old. I've been woodworking for over 30 years. I've been truck driving for 22 years. I've been enjoying the outdoors my whole life, but especially the last 4 years. I'm a husband and a father and a grandpa. I'm a mandolin player. There's other things I do, and I'm a YouTuber, a very small-time YouTuber. But I'm just learning all these things, and I'll always be learning. I love to teach. I really do enjoy teaching, but I also really enjoy learning. I love to learn, and I'm never going to stop learning. I'll always want to grow. So yeah, that's my 5th tip. 5th tip. Good night. Never stop learning. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. I hope it turned out. I hope I don't have to redo it. Hopefully the mic worked and you can hear me, and the lighting, the sun's coming up here. But anyway, just want to do a quick little video here, kind of another video of just sharing my wood carving kit and just some carving and whittling thoughts and advice and tips, and take it for what it's worth for 2025. Again, when I get home, I am going to do a new shop tour, and I got a couple new things to add, a couple other things to do yet, but I'm going to try it next time I'm home, probably next weekend. This is Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Yeah, it's Tuesday morning. January 7th, 2025. That's so weird. But yeah, probably be home next weekend, and I'll do a shop tour and some other woodworking projects too coming up. But again, when I'm on the road, I just do whatever happens. But I hope you enjoy my channel, my videos. Again, go watch all the older ones. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you want. I'm thankful for each one of you, and I just pray you're all doing well. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video.